I started hearing footsteps in my apartment before I take them. Now they continue even when I stop moving. Part 1. I first noticed something was wrong when I heard a step ahead of me before I moved forward, and I froze immediately, trying to understand if I had imagined the sound or if it had actually happened early. I tested it again by walking slowly across the room and listening carefully, and each step echoed slightly ahead of mine, not after confirming that it was not a normal delay or acoustic reflection in any expected way. At first I assumed it was sound distortion or structural echo, but the timing was reversed, because instead of following my steps it consistently occurred before I moved, which made it feel controlled. I tried walking in different patterns and directions to see if the sound would break, but the footsteps continued to occur ahead of me, regardless of how I changed my pace or movement. I stopped moving completely and the sound stopped, which made me think it was tied to my motion until I thought about stepping again and heard the next step before I actually moved. That was when I realized it was reacting to intention rather than movement, because the sound always happened based on what I was about to do instead of what I had already done. I tried to mislead it by thinking about stepping one way while moving another, but the sound followed my original thought instead of the direction I physically chose. The more I tested it, the more it felt like I wasn't creating the movement anymore, because the footsteps were already happening ahead of me regardless of what I did. I stayed still, trying not to think about moving, and everything went silent for a moment until I stopped focusing entirely, and then a step sounded anyway without any input. That was when I understood the footsteps were no longer waiting for me and they were continuing on their own follow for part 2.